Hey everyone, an important topic here to discuss. Can we be controlled by the internet? Well, the quick answer is yes, of course we can be controlled. We can be influenced, manipulated through media, algorithms, what was suggested. We all know that. That's nothing new. Everyone is aware of that, right? Everyone knows that we are all being controlled in a way through algorithms and so on and so forth. That's nothing new, right? And that doesn't actually scare me at all because although it has a profound effect, it's indirect in that I can show you a picture of a burger, but you can resist the urge of feeling hungry, for example. You still have that control to try and resist it. Even though it's subtle manipulation, it's still external. You're seeing it, and how you react to it is up to you. No, what I'm wanting to discuss here is a bit more profound. It's can the internet, like through 5G and so on, literally control you directly at source? Can someone press a button somewhere on the internet that makes you say feel hungry or fall asleep? Can it be possible? You could say they could do it through your phone and your laptop, neuro-linguistic programming, where they say, yeah, let's suggest the next few videos that use neuro-linguistic programming to do that to them. That is definitely possible. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, can I literally just be sat in a dark room by myself and someone press a button and make me feel hungry without my phone going off, without some video playing, without my TV turning on, without the radio trying to tell me something like through neuro-linguistic programs, so on and so forth? Can that be possible? Well, I'm not saying it's fact. I'm just gonna discuss if it was possible, how it could potentially be possible, and if not now, how maybe in the future they may be able to do that. So, let's first start with what Wi-Fi or the internet is. It's a wavelength, right? So, for a wavelength to be able to control us, we must be able to detect or interact with that wavelength, right? Do humans interact with wavelengths? Well, yes, we do. Just how you're seeing this right now with your eyes, that is you detecting light wavelengths, light radiation wavelengths between 700 and 440 nanometers. So this already exists, right? Your body already detects wavelengths of light. That's your whole vision. That light wavelength stimulates receptors in your eyes. That then releases neurotransmitters. They activate neurons. Electrical signals then get interpreted in your brain, and that's how you see. That's a simplified version. And that's amazing, right? You're detecting all these wavelengths and creating this amazing visual image. So, yes, humans do interact with wavelengths. Okay, but that's just our eyes. That's a certain wavelength. Internet doesn't act on those wavelengths. So, what about other wavelengths? Well, there's ultraviolet. Do we interact with that? That's the next one up after light. Well, yeah, we do. Really? How do we detect ultraviolet? I can't see ultraviolet light. You can't see it. But if you walk out in the sun and you have my type of skin for, stay in the sun for about an hour, guess what? The next few days, you go a little more brown. Melanin production. But how did your skin know that radiation touched your skin? There must have been a way to detect it, and your body reacted by creating melanin. So, once again, we know we can also detect ultraviolet light radiation. Okay, what about the next one down, say, from light? Infrared. Well, you can detect infrared radiation through heat. So, we can also detect that. Now, the wavelengths for, say, the internet, 5G and so on are, the frequencies are different. And I've never read anything about, the human brain detecting the frequencies of, say, the internet. So I don't know. But the fact that we can already detect such a large array of wavelengths, there is potentially a possibility that certain receptors in our brain can react to the wavelengths in the internet. And maybe that can somehow be used to influence us and manipulate us directly, as I said, through making you feel hungry, putting you to sleep, so on and so forth. Now, do I actually think this is possible? While science isn't complete, there is no actual evidence of it, and I'm going to assume it's actually impossible. I'm going to assume that you cannot do that, that even though there might be receptors in your brain that can detect internet, there was no way to be able to, for the brain to be influenced directly on certain receptors, because the brain can't read the ones and zeros that come through, right? The packets of information. So for it to have any impact, it might just react with the whole brain and affect your brain in some sort of way, but it won't be able to literally be specific enough to control you directly to do or feel certain things. Okay? So I'm actually going to say that's not possible. However, the next step is, can it be possible? Is there a way to potentially do that? Well, in theory, the receptors in our brain are quite unique in different areas, and they must sort of be for your body to be able to control you, right? They can't all be identical, otherwise how does the electrical signals end up in the right areas? There must be some differentiation and distinction in the brain. And so, theoretically, if you could create really small nanoparticle antagonist molecules with, I don't know, a small antenna or something that can bind directly to specific areas of your brain and then stimulate those through certain wavelengths to release electrical signals at certain parts of your brain to then stimulate a certain response such as hunger and sleep. That could potentially happen in the future. Is the technology there and ready for that? And could technology actually get that sophisticated on such a small level? Maybe not. Maybe not. But if it was possible, then to create these micro binders to certain parts of your brain with certain detectors that could be activate electrical signals in your brain to control you, then it might be possible to control someone by pressing these buttons. Now, is there any actual real-world examples? Yes. Right now, not on that level, but you can implant electrodes or whatever to, say, cockroaches and other animals, and literally with a control stick, tell them to go left, right. You can literally drive an insect by planting certain electrodes in their brain. So it's been already demonstrated on a large scale. Now, can it be done on a nano scale? I don't know. I don't know how far technology can get. But maybe. And then how would you do it though? Would you want people to know? Of course you wouldn't. You would force them to be vaccinated, maybe, and put it into their bloodstream that way. I'm not saying that is what happened. I'm just saying that's one way you could do it. Now, a part of me says, do you know what though? Like, our phones, the internet, it's so already sophisticated that all this, there wouldn't even be a point to spend all this money and effort, because it's so much easier to just control people as you do through the internet. Why would you go to the effort of trying to get even more direct control? And yeah, that point could be valid, but then again, there's no limit to how much control evil governments and corporations want. The more they can control you, the more they will do it, no matter what the method is or the cost of it. So it is a possibility. It is scary. But now, let me talk about the hope, because this almost sounds like we're all doomed and our God-given freedoms are about to be stolen in a certain way where we can't ever recover. It's not like manipulation through misinformation, where through your own logic and experience you might be able to wake up and move to a higher consciousness and see through that manipulation, the veil that they talk about. You might be able to poke through it. If they're literally now practically almost hooking you up to certain technologies that you can't escape. It's impossible. This is what I would say. I've been in the intelligence services. They've used manipulative techniques on me, hypnosis, trances, whatever, neuro-linguistic programming. I don't know what you call it. I don't really care. The point is, it's high-level interrogation techniques. And as a result, my internal immune system kicked in, and I became aware of this, and I started feeling it. Brain changes, electromagnetic changes, electrical impulses through my brain. I could feel that, and a lot of awareness came to me, from making eye contact to noticing things in life about myself and others that I hadn't noticed before. I could go into all the details of that, but I'm not going to, because I'll be here for hours. But the reason I bring it up is I'm trying to tell you that there's a certain race between manipulation and control and people's awareness. And as more sophisticated techniques are developed, certain individuals become more aware and immune and intelligent to adapt to that. And it's a never-ending process of these control systems trying to get even more and more smart and sophisticated to keep you in line. But as a byproduct, the individuals you're controlling get more and more intelligent and adapt to it. It's a bit like bacteria and medicine, right? We keep designing new and sophisticated methods to kill off bacteria adapting to these new medicines and get even more immune. So we have to keep using more and more stronger or smarter types of medicines. And it's a never-ending race between the bacteria and the medicine of, survival and intelligent techniques. And I think at certain points it got close where bacteria almost became immune to all medicines, and we were worrying that we might get, these super bugs that are just immune to everything. But somehow us humans continue to find new innovative ways to get the bacteria back under control. But the bacteria keeps finding new and innovative ways to get back at us. And the manipulative control is also in this never-ending race on the citizens of the world. And that's why I do these videos. It's my way of trying to help genuine freedom-loving people be aware of the dangers and risks. You know, if our governments truly loved us, they would deploy so much resources into making us resistant to manipulation. But they would never would, because if everyone was as resistant as I am, they wouldn't be able to get away with the things they do through corruption and theft and just immoral things they do. It would just be impossible. But unfortunately, I'm in the minority. The majority are just stuck in the matrix. And now I bring up the matrix for an interesting point about how you could protect yourself from all of this, right? Switch off your computer, switch off your phone, leave your phone at home, go for a walk, keep away digital media. But then, if what I'm saying might happen in the future regarding controlling you through the internet, that won't work anymore either. You can't just switch off your digital media and just go out and walk in the park away from everything. No, because you still couldn't escape. But you could go underground, right? Like deep underground where none of these wavelengths reach. Then you're definitely safe. Interesting, in the Matrix, they were hiding deep underground from the machines. That was where they had the relative safety, right? Hiding deep underground. This happens in real life as well. So I'm trying to avoid going into this conflict, especially because it's such a heated and like painful issue, which is the current Israeli-Gaza war. But what I will say on it is this. Israel are very sophisticated in knowing exactly where everyone is through their mobile phones and other methods. We know this with the embassy bombing. They managed to, literally while they're meeting, take out a high-ranking Iranian general, Hezbollah members, so on and so forth. But they've not been able to get Hassan Nasrallah, who is the leader of Hezbollah, even though he's probably, if not the most wanted, close to their most wanted. Why is that? He's deep underground, where the wavelengths don't penetrate. So quite literally, they have no idea where he is, right? And the only way they would be able to even get a location is if he was betrayed by someone within the organization who maybe smuggled something in, maybe hooked it up to a laptop. It would take like quite sophisticated methods. And it's the same with the leader of Hamas. That individual is underground. He's not coming out. Israel is not willing to sacrifice tens of thousands of soldiers going in underground tunnels to try and find him. That leaves them with very few options to ever get him. You know, do they just literally starve everyone until... And even then, like, that's not going to work because these individuals aren't stupid. They've probably got years and years of food and water supplies in their tunnels. So that wouldn't even work. You'd kill all the civilians first and it'd take you years to get to him. So the point I bring all this up is I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm just trying to educate and warn, but at the same time tell you there is hope. You know, we hear about all these billionaires building bunkers underground and stuff. Maybe they're aware of some of this stuff. What I don't have the resources, but if I did, if I was wealthy, I would build underground tunnels deep underground where, you know, wavelengths can't get to, and where, you know, if there was a nuclear war and radiations can't penetrate, and those are logical things because, the fact that, let's talk about nuclear weapons, for example. They've already been used twice. Nuclear weapons will be used again. That's practically a certainty. A certainty. It's not if, it's when. Quite literally. One day, they will be used again. Hopefully not in our lifetimes, but the way the world's headed, you can't rule that out. But hopefully you found this informative. I've tried to tackle it through science, through scientific methods. Some of you might still think, oh, it's lunacy, Again, I'm not saying, I personally don't actually believe that nanochip technology has been used on us so far. I actually don't believe it. But can that happen to control your brain? I've told you how it might be able to happen scientifically, especially with certain technological advancements. Here's the other thing. We know through the recent COVID vaccine that it is now possible to hijack your cells, your ribosomes in your cells, to tell it to create a protein. So what that means is we already can control the individual cell in your body. So to have the ability to control your brain, which is an organ, which is much larger than a single cell, is not a far-fetched thing to say. And while we're on the COVID vaccine, full disclosure, I didn't want to take it. And not because of thinking there's some nanochip or whatever, or none of this stuff. The only reason I didn't want to take it is because I was just thinking from a logical, scientific point of, if I'm going to die from this, then the world, most people are probably going to die, because I was a relatively healthy 20-something-year-old individual. So if that was going to kill almost all 20-something-year-old individuals, then, we're all doomed anyway. The world is doomed, right? Man, you saw the statistics, and it was bad. I'm not saying it wasn't, but it wasn't that bad for healthy individuals, young and healthy individuals. And so the risk was very low. So then I need to weigh up, okay, a vaccine that hasn't gone through the usual many years of testing, where the side effects aren't really fully understood, or a virus that I have a high percentage chance of surviving. I wanted to take the non-vaccination route. But then, and I waited for my brothers to get vaccinated, because they're probably one of the closest they're probably genetically the most closest individuals to me. My parents, my wife, they all got vaccinated. No real side effects. So I thought, do you know what? Going on holiday soon. Work kept moaning about, hey, have you got vaccinated yet? Have you got vaccinated yet? I thought, I don't really want to do it, but you know what? Why not? Everyone seems fine. I got really bad injuries from the vaccine, and I still have them to this day. Even today it came back. Luckily, it doesn't affect me every day, but I get weird tingly sensations in the side of my face, the left side of my face, especially when I'm stressed for some reason. The more stressed I get, the more the tingly sensations occur. I also went blind for a few seconds, which scared the hell out of me. I had blurry vision for about a week after taking the vaccine. Literally right after taking the vaccine, my vision got blurry. And I was confused about it, but other than slightly blurry vision and feeling a little sweaty, I thought, oh, I'll be fine. Then 30 minutes later, I got tingly sensations all over my face. I thought, you know what? And this is generally my attitude. I'll be fine, I'll be fine. And it got worse day after day. I ended up going hospital, waiting A&E for 8 hours. They didn't help me. I ended up just leaving because just got annoyed from having to wait so long. And, you know, it was like 1, 2 a.m. I'd work the next day and I still hadn't been seen. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. So even the NHS couldn't help me. Luckily, over time, it has the effects of it has reduced. But I mean, I got vaccine injured. Nobody really helped me. I never got compensated. And so that is just straight up facts. That's what happened to me, and I want to share that story because we know the social media companies were hammering down on this stuff, and it's shocking they did that. It's shocking they did that. It's evil, genuine evil, that they silenced people who had genuine concerns about this stuff. That being said, I kind of understand why most of them went along with it, because they genuinely thought it would be for the greater good. We found out it wasn't. We found out that vaccine didn't even really reduce the transmission, so it just protected you. And if it's just protecting yourself as well, then you should be able to, you know, determine whether or not you want to take that risk, because it's only affecting you fundamentally. But anyway, I won't go into that anymore. But the next time some random pandemic comes about and they want to inject everyone, just remember what I said in this video. Peace out.